Rocket Coaster Cruises Bahamar'ın Oğuz'da Oğuz'dan insanlar Oğuz'dan İslam Konuşlar
So, Ivar, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
We'll start off with the Honda Sky thing because as a continuation from the interview we did with Torgrim.
It's been essential for the festival to receive support from Bergen, the town of Bergen, and also nationally from the cultural governments. You know, it's an idealistic festival, and our vision is quite simply, we do it on a mandate from the crowd. So as long as people want Hole in the Sky, we're going to keep running it, and you know, if nobody showed up, it meant they didn't want it. So, and we're not exactly what you could call Donald Trump material. We're not in it, you know, to generate a business or create jobs. So I think Bergen, they caught on to this quite early.
How long since they kind of noticed you guys? Or
first time was in 2005.
Well, not till then. Okay.
And that they got into it, and that meant that we could expand the program. We could keep sort of a competitive ticket price compared to other festivals, and have somewhat, you know, big bookings from time to time. We've had, you know, dancing, and last year was quite big with At the Gates and Carcass bands that headline also festivals like Wacken. So our thing is just to break even, basically, and survive, and we need that support to be able to support the program like we have. The national government were a little bit earlier, so they came during the fourth year, 2003. Started out very carefully, and they have a very strict monitoring process of you know, auditing the books, and everything has to be. It's really strict, and then, you know, we've proven that we do everything legal, and keep the books in order. So they've given us, but it's a good thing about Bergen and the national government, because it's sort of when one of them, you know, raised the support from 5 figures to 6. Then the other one sort of had to do the same.
So you have a little bit of you can almost play them against each other.
Almost, yeah. It's that, because, you know, when the national government wanna support something, then the local government has to show that they're also into it, you know, to get behind it.
And 2003, which you said was the first year that the national government got behind it, that was the first year you had it in Varta. Yeah, okay. And was that also something that came about because of the extra of the support?
Yes.
Okay, so that step maybe wouldn't have been taken so early if it hadn't been for the government. Okay.
Absolutely. We had it in garage before, because then, you know, we're basically 3 people in the board of the festival, and basically what happened if we ran a deficit, we would be, you know, not only would we be, it's just the last 2 or 3 years that we've actually had, you know, a salary for the weeks of the festival. Before that, we would basically end up having to pay the deficit ourselves, in addition to not being paid for the festival.
Okay, so it's only recently that you've actually been able to concentrate more on the festival. So beforehand, it was basically you dedicating your free time and other time towards getting it done.
Yeah, not working, basically.
Okay, you know? Yeah. So this year, it was a huge success. It sold out in advance again. Okay, and you had some special things. For example, you had Gorgoroth, who made quite a comeback after all the stuff with the case and everything. You also had your good selves Enslaved doing a very, very special set. Was this something you'd planned for quite a while, or was this?
This was Torgrim's idea. I was part of the booking for maybe the first 2 or 3 years, like, but now I guess, you know, I'm like on level with, you know, all Torgrim's other friends who tell him, you know, like, you should book this band and all that. The guy has, you know, he has very much integrity, so he has no problem with, you know, if I give him a CD and I say you should have this band, he'll tell me to, I don't want to book that band, you know, it's crap, and then I just have to live with that. So it was his idea. I remember I came into our manager's office, and she was talking with Torgrim about the possible Enslaved 10th anniversary thing, and I just, put my fingers in the ears and went out and like, don't talk to me about it. I don't want to mix up the roles. And that was Torgrim's idea. We play in Bergen once or twice every year, and we play the festivals around in Europe, and a lot of the people come from Europe and the US to Hole in the Sky, and we wanted to do something. Torgrim wanted us to do something that could only happen at Hole in the Sky.
Right. I thought it was very good that it was Bergen bands headlining both nights.
Yeah.
Was that the conscious thing?
Yeah, it's sort of a follow-up to the first year, which was only Bergen bands, when everybody volunteered. It was supposed to be a one-night thing, and just getting together and see if we could raise some money to Grimm's family for his funeral, because they were in a quite tough financial spot back then. And I remember because Immortal, they were playing another show in Belgium or something the same day.
They had to go on first, right?
Yeah, so they went on at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Immortal. That was quite weird. Yeah. And it sort of raised the bar quite high, and all the bands after them gave some of their most crazy shows ever, because everybody was so nervous about going on after Immortal.
Yeah, so it was a good tactical move, actually.
Yeah.
What's your exact role for Hole in the Sky?
My role is festival manager. I'm sort of running the festival. Okay. I do all the economics and production, sound, lights, all the technical crew and all that stuff. Do the production, make all the advancing and dealing. So Torgrim, he will go and book the bands and sort of fit everything into his part of the budget, and then it's up to me to sort of see what we can afford and what we can't afford and stuff like that.
And make sure things actually come together in a proper manner, so that way your books do get checked by the government that everything's in order.
Yeah.
So you haven't bought yourself a house somewhere or several cars?
No, I have a shitty car that I bought for £450 2 years ago.
Okay, right.
It's falling apart, so the guy at the garage said you can drive it through November, but then you shouldn't drive it if you want to stay alive after that.
So the lesson is, if you're arranging an ideological festival, it doesn't really pay off financially, right?
No.
Okay. Looking back now, it's just over a month since the festival happened. 10th anniversary. How do you feel?
It was amazing. We've been at the point, I think it was 2007 when we did quite expensive booking, and I think we went a little bit far in being cozy and setting the prices very low for the tickets and everything. So we ended up with actually spending everything we've saved up to that point.
Oh, really?
In 2007. So then we were sort of a bit nervous. Yeah. And then we decided, okay, either we're going to do it, go out with a bang in 2008. We took a calculated risk, with at the gates and Carcass and all that stuff. And if people didn't show up, we were pretty confident we would be able to sort of, pay our debts and everything, make sure everything got paid, and then sort of make a quiet exit. But it was sold out, and we were able to do this year too.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no plans to stop in the near future.
Absolutely not.